Hi everybody, I'm Kelly. I'm an alcoholic. And I have experience with these steps by the grace of God with a step study sponsor. I finished my amends and I'm still working 10, 11, and 12 daily. And I want to thank everybody for having me here. Thanks Josh for asking me to come. I'm a member of the Georgetown Big Book Step Study meeting. We meet this morning, and Josh was there one morning and asked me to come out, so I'm really grateful to be here and to share my experience, strength, and hope. So Step 10 has been a huge part of my life, especially in the past, I'd say, well, for the past many years since I went through the earlier steps, but really in the past couple of years when life became very painful again, and I had to learn to continue to surrender and to continue to call on the power of God in my life, and these steps never fail me. When I work these steps, I arrive back in the presence of God, and which is where I need to be. This reading is short and there's so much in here. It talks about me being in a position now of being protected and safe from the drink. And for us alcoholics, that's really good news. I had been away from a drink for 6 years before I accepted the way of life offered in this book, in these steps. I had really a miracle of healing where I had been on my knees and surrendered to God, asked Him to take away the desire to drink or take my life. And that was in January of '93. And in that moment, the desire to drink was taken, and I was protected from the drink for the time being. I came to AA. I knew I belonged here. I loved I still love AA. I love being here. I love I have a coffee, but I had to get a coffee because I love AA coffee better. I mean, we just do it best, right? And the fellowship and. But I continued to suffer, and we all know what I'm talking about, like that hopelessness and that I ended up in a place again where now I'm away from a drink, and what is really wrong now? Like, why do I still want to die? And I needed a solution to this problem that I learned centers in my mind. There was a reason why I picked up a drink to begin with, and it was my untreated alcoholism. So it was by God's grace that I ended up running into a woman that had done these steps, and she offered to take me, through. And so I guess to focus on step 10, right? So I'm going to continue to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm going to continue to make amends when I need to. So I'm going to continue to watch for my defects of character to crop up. And so I guess what I learned in the earlier steps was that I guess I thought that I was a bad person, and I had no idea how precious I am to God. I needed, with all my heart, to understand myself through God's eyes and not through my eyes, and not through the eyes of the world and the things that had happened to me and the things that I had done. So by getting honest with myself and writing out a formal fourth step, and after having surrendered my will and my life to God, I was able to become honest about the things that were blocking me from this power that I desperately needed to keep me away from a drink. I think I thought because I had been sober for 6 years that I was not at risk anymore to pick up a drink, and that's the biggest lie I could ever tell myself. Every day I need a daily reprieve. And almost the longer I'm away from a drink, the more I need to remember that, So my sponsor was so smart to tell me, no, you it has nothing to do with how long you've been away from a drink. It has to do with your ability to surrender to your life to God and to accept His power and to, be able to love and serve God and others. And here by step 10, my job is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So what ended up happening in the earlier steps is that I understood that everything I was ever going to need is going to come from my higher power. And I was trying to solve a spiritual problem on a physical plane. So I was running around trying to make myself feel better and trying to come up with my own solution. And that is what I will continue to do until the day I die, unless I understand that there's a solution to what is ailing me. And that how I get to that solution, which is God, is by working these steps. These automatically deliver me back into the presence of God, which is where I need to be. So I was full of fear, and I was trying to solve my own problem, and I was under the impression that if I could just change everybody around me and just maybe change a little bit about the circumstances of my life, and maybe a little bit, nobody was ever quite right. I always thought I knew a little bit more about how you should be behaving than you do. And I had this thing about everyday life where if I could just control the things that were happening, it's kind of like be a dam that would stop the flow of life, then I could be okay. And this really smart minister that I listened to on radio, when I finished my fourth step, my phone, my car radio was stuck on Christian radio. It wouldn't go anywhere else. So whether or not, whatever you believe, I think God sends us what we need individually, and that's what I needed. And so she said that not every storm is in the forecast. And I needed to hear that. Like, I thought I had to be aware of all the things. So I was trying to organize the world for me instead of surrendering to the life God was trying to give me and accepting His help and playing the role that I was being assigned in the day. And I wanted to write the script. And I didn't even know that. I didn't know any of this until I did the earlier work. Like, I did not know. And that's why I need to continue on, because I do not know what I'm doing that's getting in the way. I don't understand. I don't get it yet. And so whereas I thought I understood God's grace and plan, it's continuously revealed to me how I'm going to continue to grow, and I'm going to continue to become more effective, hopefully, to help to others to understand, His power, His love, His way of life. So, so those were kind of like the big things that I was trying to run the show. I thought the world revolved around me. I really did. I did not know that other people had their own problems, their own agendas, their own pain, their own struggles. I was so much in my own pain. And through doing these earlier steps, I was able to receive healing and receive the truth and know who I am to God, trust Him for everything I need, and see how I was playing the villain in my own story. I was constantly doing things that was getting in the way of God trying to help me live a nice life. So, I finished my fifth step, and I did 6 and 7. I made my amends, and now I'm practicing step 10. And so I review these pages. Not every day. I'd like to say I do every day. I review these pages frequently, but on my heart each morning is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for where the fear is cropping up. I'm looking for the resentment. I'm looking for the self-seeking. And when it pops up, my job is to pause, because nothing changes in my heart and in my mind without the power of God. I can try all I want. I can be like, I am not going to be selfish today. I am not going to do that. I'm not going to be resentful. It doesn't work. I don't have the power to change me, but God does. So when these things crop up, I have to pause. I have to ask God for help. That's the very first thing. I can talk to all the alcoholics in the whole world about what's wrong, and nobody can help me unless I've gone to God first. And so, I pause, I ask God for help, if I need to, I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to talk to them about like how I'm behaving, what's going on, and then I'm going to make an amend like quickly instead of like letting things pile up so that then I'm in shame again. And then I can't look you in the eye again because it can be something little and it doesn't matter. I just, like my disease knows how to take me out, like, and not let me be, like I said, if I'm in shame, then I'm not able to help another alcoholic, right? So, like practicing this stuff on a daily basis. So, like I just thought I would, and the other thing is, so it's been like since, I think like around the year 2000 or something, since I first, went through this work. So there have been times over the years where I've gotten behind, and I think like it's so important to know that the place to start is where I stand. So there is no amount of backlog that can't be dealt with, right? Like, so if I have like been away from this work for like a month, 6 months, a year, however long it's been over the years, if I get on my knees and I say an honest prayer to God to help me surrender myself to Him and help me to right my wrongs, then I just call another alcoholic. I do a lengthy, it's not a 4-step, it's a 10-step. I've done my 4-step. If I haven't picked up a drink, I don't need to go all the way, but I need to surrender again and I need to see myself. And so I've written out an entire notebook since, like, again. And there's nothing wrong with that. It kept me sober, it helped me get back on track, and then I'm able to get back to the daily routine of it. And so those things tend to happen when I've had big life changes, like when I got married, I really didn't understand what was being asked of me, like how, like it wasn't going to be about like somebody making me happy. It was going to be it was a great thing I got married because it helped me grow tremendously. Like, this is about seeing how I can be of service to somebody else and how I can be, and how I can try to help my husband. And so, like, there was a big backlog of stuff after that. And when I had kids, even after I got a puppy one time, I was like, I'm resentful at this puppy so badly. He's interrupting everything. And so then when I had kids, and so I guess like to bring it forward to this year and like what's happened to, I've been working very closely with another woman in this program to work on surrender and fear and resentment. And it has to do with a situation with one of my kids. And boy, oh boy, like I guess I didn't know, like I guess I thought that I had to try to run the show and show them the way, and if they didn't do that, then I thought like all was lost. And I'm coming to understand that I play a different role than the role that I thought I was playing is very different. And what I'm being led to do is surrender to what I can't change. It's like I'm learning the serenity prayer all over again, and learning to trust in the grace of God, even when things aren't going the way that I thought they would. Like, it's a really hard thing to have certain expectations out of love. I mean, the expectations are coming from a pure place, but that doesn't mean that's how somebody's life is going to go. Like, and to recognize that my kids have their own higher power, I'm like, what? Like, I thought you were going to have my higher power. I really did. I thought that's how it was going to go, and it isn't, and that's okay. What I'm being asked to do is love the kids that I've been given in the lives that they have as they are right now. Like, I find the presence of God in my real life as it is right now. Not in the way that I think it ought to be, not in the way that I imagine it to be, but in the actual circumstances of my life. This is where I find the presence. The only place I'm safe from a drink is where God is. So I have to, this is so serious, I had to surrender. And to just like allow, like just, we talk about that, like I have to accept the way things are. It doesn't mean that I agree, like I am not in agreement, but I am accepting, which just means like to admit what's true. Like this is the reality right now, this is it, this is how it is. And because I'm willing to do that, I can expect, what I can expect is the grace of God to give me the strength that I need to be the person I'm being called to be, and the mother I'm being called to be in their lives as they are right now. And so that's really been the heaviest thing. There's some lighter, easier things that I can talk about, like I got resentful at my husband because I'm going to be participating in a service role. And I wanted his help in a certain role within that, like it's a retreat. So when I asked him if he would perform that service role for me, he said no. And I was like, oh, right, so then I'm resentful because I thought like he should do this, And not only am I resentful, but now I'm like, so now I got to turn it around. I got to talk to my sponsor. I got to say, well, where was I selfish? Well, I wanted him to do what I wanted him to do. Why? So that I would feel safe, so that I would feel like I'm okay and this is going to be all right. So now I'm putting my trust in him instead of on God. And so where am I being, my dishonesty is always like there's like if I was in the military, there'd be like a sniper, and like they'd be like waiting for like someone to prove me that I'm wrong, and that's where the focus would go. Like I have this like watchman in my mind, and if someone's suggesting that I'm wrong, I'm gonna like retaliate immediately, and I don't even mean to do it. It's just like I have this like, so I'm like I gotta like let the watchman go. Like you're off duty. Like don't worry about this. I'm going to talk to God. So like the lie that I tell myself is that if he loved me, he would do this. If he loved me, he would do this. If other people, and then I get into the self-pity. So now I'm like, jumping down to like, my what do you call it? Like the actions that I'm taking to get what I want. So now I'm like into, my self-pity. I'm into like explaining to myself and others why he should be doing what he's not doing. My self-seeking, I guess, is what I'm talking about. And my fear. And my fear is that, that I'm not going to get what I want, and that this role is not going to be fulfilled. And so when I turn it around, and I first have to pray, because nothing's going to change until I pray. And the truth is that this is what God told me. Like, this is bigger than me. Like, there's something God has in store for my husband that weekend. And it's not doing what I thought he should do. It's something else. So now I have to trust that the plan is different than what I thought it was going to be. And now I have to go to my husband and make an amend, because I was rude to him when he said, I pouted, I was like, made him feel bad. I'm like, you know what, I just want you to know that I'm sorry for the way I behaved, and that I'm excited for you to be there in any capacity that you think you're being called to be. And so like by these types of things, and this is like this is just one example, this is every day, like there's always something, like whether it's like I've said something to my kids I shouldn't have said, I'm sorry I said that, I'm sorry I made you feel like you should think like me, I'm sorry that I like lashed out at you like that, or and when and sometimes it's just really simple, like I was being a jerk, and now I've been released from this vision that I have to be that I have to be perfect. I've been released from that. I'm allowed, like in college, my college boyfriend called me Little Miss Can't Be Wrong. And now I understand that like it's okay to be wrong. It's fine. Like, you know what? Like if I'm in the place parked out in the parking lot, that's fine. Like just go move. Like that's a great suggestion. Like try to like think about other people. Maybe I didn't. And like that's okay. Like it's all right. You can, Kelly, you can like be wrong, you can say you're sorry, and you can do the right thing next time. And so I'll end with, just try to wrap it up, but I just like, I'm trying every day to grow in understanding and effectiveness. So I am trying to be more effective at allowing God to work through me, is really what it is. Because all of the previous work emptied me out and made me open to being filled by something greater than me that I desperately needed. And like that's like what happened. Like when I still carry that like vision in my head. Like when I was writing my fourth step, I was hiking in Tuckerman's Ravine in the White Mountains, and I was amazed at how empty it's a big bowl. It's like a big empty bowl of space, and this big like big mountain on all sides of this emptiness. And I remember like feeling like God was saying, like, that's what's happening to you, Kelly. You're getting emptied out so that I can fill you up. So you gotta stay empty, you gotta stay open so that I can pour through you and try to help other people who I love so much in this world and I want to help. And you'll just be one person that will be trying to help with, so with the grace of God. So I think that's all I have for today. And thank you all. You're so like attentive. It's like it's so healing to be listened to, in the world. So thank you so much. I look forward to hearing you all.